All right, everybody, welcome into another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. Today, we are each going to be predicting the offensive rookie of the year by drafting 10 rookies against each other. Josh will get the first pick, and then we'll just alternate from there. It's going to be super fun, man. How are you, Josh?
Doing really good. I always love these drafts that we do. We're going to be doing various different ones. This is for betting odds of who's going to win Rookie of the Year. On the offensive side, we'll also do a defensive one, of course. But yeah, these are super fun. We got the inspo from our guys over at PFF, NFL Stock Exchange. Maybe one day we'll get a collab with them. But yeah, this is going to be exciting. I'm excited I get the first pick because I'm going to get my dude. But it's going to be a shorter episode, of course. So we only have five picks each. So it won't be one of our long hour ones. So everyone stay tuned. But yeah, these stay tuned to make some money. So, but with that, my guy, been yelling his name from the rooftop since before the draft, Mr. Bijan Robinson. And the reason I got him so high and over the quarterbacks is just because I think he comes into a system where he's going to get immediate touches, immediate volume, and be such a stud. I think there'll be a little bit of growing pains for the quarterbacks, even though it's such a quarterback-friendly award. But Bijan Robinson, come on, man. He's with Arthur Smith. He's going to be touching the ball so much. He's in an offense where Tyler Algier ran for 1,000 yards last year, and Bijan's just on another level than Tyler Algier. So, give me 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Let's go crazy with it.
Oh, man, he's just such a generational prospect. He's really the best running back prospect we've seen in so long, and he's such a good player. And man, Arthur Smith is going to use him like he did with Derrick Henry, and I'm just so excited to see how that translates to fantasy. I'm trying to get him as much as I can in fantasy. It's really hard because of how much hype he has around his name, but man, Bijan is such a fun and just talented prospect, and his situation couldn't be any better, and his outlook is just so fun. So yeah, I mean, I feel like having him at one is kind of a cheat code. Kind of unfair. I feel like he's a lock to get rookie of the year. So you're probably going to win this one, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll be doing this every year. We're gonna play some bets too. So, give me Bijan. I love the odds.
Yeah, I'll be throwing a bunch of dart throws at my picks, and I guess that'll lead into my number 2 pick, and that is Bryce Young, the Panthers quarterback. And quarterbacks do tend to heavily be favored in this award. Brock Purdy almost won it last year, and he barely played. So I think Bryce Young's going to have a great season with Frank Reich. I think that's going to be a great duo. I think Frank Reich will honestly be just a perfect coach for Bryce Young and his talents. And I think Jonathan Mingo will have a really good connection with him. I love that young duo. And I think Adam Thielen will be a good, reliable option for him. And I love what the Panthers are doing. Their coaching staff is really, really good. And I trust that they're going to be right up there at the top of that division. If they win it, then he's probably going to be considered for rookie of the year. So
Yeah,
he's second in betting odds, and it's probably rightfully so.
yeah, and the great thing with Bryce Young is he has a weak division, and so he has such good odds of winning a lot of games, and wins and combined with quarterback for rookie, give you a very, very heavily favored odd to win. And the thing with Bryce Young too is he's so NFL ready. There's really no question marks about him. He's a smart dude. He understands how to read a defense. He can go out there. He can be a leader. There's no reason he needs to sit, for a year or anything. So he's immediately going to go out there and start. And, I think he's, definitely rightfully so in the second spot. And then getting into my third one, I was kind of tossing, going back and forth, but I think I can get the other guy I want with my next pick. But I'm gonna steal this guy right now. You're probably not expecting it, but Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh wow.
And I got this, a little bit of inspo from some other videos I was watching, but it just made a lot of sense and clicked with me. But David Montgomery has not been super efficient, especially in the red zone, by any means. With Chicago over the last 4 years, he's a good running back, but the Lions are missing a guy who just ran for 17 or 18 touchdowns. Was the NFL TD leader, and Mr. Jamal Williams, who's now a part of the Saints. And so there's a lot of touchdowns to go around, and Jahmyr Gibbs is fantastic. I mean, he's oddly similar to Alvin Kamara. in the pass game, in the run game, and I think he can score a lot of touchdowns this year. I think he's going to be their kind of goal line guy. He's going to be lined up in the slot. He's going to do a lot of different things. And they drafted him so high where he has to get touches, and so they're going to force feed him a lot. And I hope he gets the goal line touches because I mean David Montgomery hasn't been super efficient in that area, and that's kind of what I'm banking on with Jahmyr Gibbs here.
Yeah, we saw the Lions running backs get so many touchdowns last year, and I hope Jahmyr Gibbs is a beneficiary of that. And if he is, then he can really get rookie of the year because he's going to be a fun fantasy option, and people are going to just draft him so high in fantasy, and he's going to be pretty flashy and have some weeks where he goes off for like 35 fantasy points because he's going to get some flashy receiving touchdowns, and he's a really good receiver. He reminds me of Austin Eckler, so I love that. And it's a little high, but I'm going to take Anthony Richardson at 4 because I love the quarterback bias and the upside, man. Talk about upside. Anthony Richardson is just nothing but upside. That guy is just so much potential. And I think in that Shane Steichen offense, I think the Colts will take a big step up. And I think Anthony Richardson will have a pretty good season this year. And he's just such a talent, man, such a freak. And Jonathan Taylor will hold down the run game. And I think that Anthony Richardson has just as good of chance as anyone to win this award because of his freakish athleticism.
100%. I mean, he's coming into a Shane Steichen offense where he saw Jalen Hurts run for, I think, was it Jalen Hurts run over 1,000 yards, I believe, and like
Close.
10 plus touchdowns or something. I think he's maybe like 800 yards and like 10 touchdowns. So Jalen Hurts is a freak on the ground. Anthony Richardson is more athletic, and he's gonna heavily rely on that because I mean I don't think he's fully developed as a passer yet. Which could hurt him also in these these offensive rookie of the year odds. But that talent on the ground is going to be exciting, and people are going to fall in love with that. And so, he's going on to a good team too, where he could get a good amount of wins. So that division's up in the air. Whoever wants to take it can definitely take it. But yeah, I like that. But I am getting my guy at number 5, so I'm glad I went Jahmyr Gibbs early because my number 5 is going to be Mr. CJ Stroud.
Okay.
And I love CJ Stroud. He was one of my draft crushes this year. I don't know why we ever went away from him being the second overall pick because he was always going to be the second overall guy behind Bryce Young. But he is just so smooth. He's so developed. And I love that he's, his head coach is D'Amico Ryans. And D'Amico Ryans learned from Kyle Shanahan over these years. And I think that's going to, and I hope, they kind of run a Shanahan type offense because that'll be so fun for the Texans. But CJ Stroud is such a good passer. He's good with his feet. I feel like if anyone has a chance to have a Justin Herbert like season, their rookie year, it's CJ Stroud. So I'm actually higher on him than a lot of other people are. I think he could be a dude that throws for 30 touchdowns in his rookie year. I really truly believe that. I think he's smart enough. I think he's talented enough, and I think he's got some running upside too. And the Texans, like the Colts, are in the same division where that division's truly up in the air. All the quarterback play is up in the air. It's just whoever's going to go out and grab it, and whoever gets the most wins and has the most passing touchdowns, has a good chance of offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, we both talked about it in that power rankings episode, but we both love the Texans outlook and we're both higher on the Texans. And I think that culture that D'Amico Ryans will have in place will have that offense being more productive and scoring more touchdowns. And Stroud really could get rookie of the year, and you got him as a steal with the 5th pick. He's the 3rd best odds, and that's a steal. I mean, I can't believe he fell that far, but yeah, I mean, Stroud really could get rookie of the year if some things go right in that Texans offense. And I really love the Texans outlook, man. I think they're going to be great, and I love their future outlook for years to come.
100%. All right, who's Dan's Mr. number 6?
All right, you made my number 6 pick pretty easy after drafting Stroud. It's got to be Jordan Addison. I've been high on this guy. I love his outlook. I love his outlook this year for the Minnesota Vikings, opposite of Justin Jefferson. I just think the more I think about it, it's just so fun. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to love Jordan Addison. It's the type of receiver that Kirk Cousins trusts and throws to on 3rd downs and reliable throwing passing down. So I'm really excited for Jordan Addison. I think he can replace Thielen's red zone production because Thielen really was good in the red zone. And I love Jordan Addison as a prospect. He reminds me a little bit of Justin Jefferson just because he can play from anywhere and kind of do it all. And he's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. But I love Jordan Addison, man. He's a really fun prospect.
Really bummed that you took him right there. I was hoping I could get him here at 7. But yeah, Jordan Addison, he can run the whole route tree. And he is an eerily similar, I mean, definitely coming out of college, not as refined or nearly as, good as I would say Justin Jefferson was, and not playing that SEC talent. But he's eerily similar to Justin Jefferson. I think Kirk Cousins could fall in love with a guy like this, especially when Justin Jefferson is going to be requiring double teams almost every single play. So yeah, I love Jordan Addison. He's stepping immediately into a wide receiver 2 role, which I don't think any other rookies really are. And so I am bummed you got that pick. That's a great pick. But transitioning into my number 7 here, I'll go Jackson Smith and Jigba now. He's kind of coming into a crowded offense, where he's got a couple good receivers in front of him and some really good running backs, and I do believe that the Seahawks want to run the ball a lot. But bearing any injuries, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he's going to immediately start from the slot, and he could be a guy that could be ultra productive, and he would be a good red zone threat, for the Seahawks, and he's a guy that can catch a lot of passes. He's a very good route runner and very good possession receiver. So, even with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, I think he complements their skill sets really good because he's just that, amazing route runner from the slot that can catch 100 passes, given the opportunity. So give me Jackson Smith and Jigba here at 7.
Yeah, I think taking a shot at JSN is not bad at all. Just the Ohio State receiver connection, his name, he was so good in college. I just think that there's automatically going to be eyes drawn to him, and he is such a flashy, good player in the slot, and he's going to break a lot of slants for touchdowns and be pretty productive in fantasy, and fans are going to love him. And I really do see a world where he could win Rookie of the Year, just as Garrett Wilson did last year. I love Jackson Smith and Jigba. It sucks that he's the third option in that offense, but the offense is good enough where he could still be productive and flashy enough to get Rookie of the Year if someone goes down and he turns into a starter in that offense. He's so
100%. 100%.
And then at 8, I'm going to go with the tight end, the first tight end, and that's Dalton Kincaid, someone that we both love. And
Damn it.
he was both of our draft crush, and then he goes to the Bills, and obviously that crush elevated because Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid is just such a fun connection. And I'll take my dart throw at Dalton Kincaid, just having a legendary rookie tight end season. You never know. He really could be their wide receiver too. I don't love Gabe Davis either to you. He's not good. I think Dalton Kincaid is their second best receiver, and I really do hope that they use him in the slot like Brandon Bean said they would, because he is a really good receiver. And if he, if Josh Allen likes him and he's a good security blanket earlier on, then I think that there's a world where he could get Rookie of the Year, and that's exciting.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to see a tight end win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I couldn't name a time where that's happened. But Dalton Kincaid he's coming out of college. He's a more refined receiver than he was really tight end. So he's going to line up there, out wide, run a lot of routes. And the Bills have been crying out for, a guy to step up behind Stephon Diggs and get some targets. So, I love that. I was going to take him there. You finessed me, of course, with your second time. But, we love Dalton Kincaid. And I think there is a world where he could be a 10+ touchdown guy, and bearing how these other guys do, teams and people, it's all up to the fans. And if the Bills have a big playoff run and Kincaid's amazing in it, people are going to fall in love with him and vote for him for that. So I like that dart throw right there. And transitioning into my number 9, what kind of Charger fan would I be if I didn't throw out Quentin Johnson?
Nice. I respect it.
Yeah, what kind of fan would I be for my boys out there who are Chargers fans watching this if I didn't throw out our dude? And Quentin Johnston really complements Keenan Allen and Mike Williams really well. And there's probably going to be a stretch. I hate to say it, a knock on hardwood for me as a Charger fan, but I can't remember the last time Mike Williams or Keenan Allen played a full healthy 16-game season, or 17 or 18 now. So Quentin Johnson will probably be wide receiver 1, 2 throughout the year, 3. But I think there's plenty of targets to go around. The Chargers were notorious for throwing the ball 50+ times a game last year. And I don't see why it would change with Kellen Moore. I hope they get better in the run game. But when you got a quarterback like Justin Herbert, you want to put the ball in his hands, and Quentin Johnson could be the beneficiary of that. A lot of games this year, and bearing injuries and stuff, he could be a wide receiver 2 or 3 and have that type of production. Where he catches 10 touchdowns and has 800 yards. But yeah, what kind of Charger fan would I be if I didn't throw that out there?
Yeah, I respect it. And as a wide receiver 3 in that Kellen Moore offense, I don't see why he can't be productive, even as the wide receiver 3, complementing Keenan and Mike Williams, who are two really good receivers that two of the best corners will be attracted to. So I think Quentin Johnson's going to be really attractive for Justin Herbert to throw to early on. And I think they're going to build a nice rapport because Quentin Johnson's going to be nice for sweeps and just getting in the ball around the line of scrimmage. He's like a Debo and he's so fast and big. And he's like Laviska Shenault, what Laviska Shenault fans thought he was. He's
Yeah,
a really fun
yeah,
player.
yeah,
And
guy.
obviously pairing him with Herbert and Kellen Moore, the sky really is the limit. And he could get rookie of the year if, Keenan or might go down and he becomes a wide receiver 1 in the Chargers offense that, the sky's the limit with that team as well. I really could see him getting rookie of the year as well. I like that pick.
Yes, sir. All right, Dan. Last pick of the draft. Who you got?
All right. Last pick in the draft. Oh, I struggled. I was thinking about a few players, but I have to give my guy Roshan Johnson some recognition, man.
Whoa!
I think it's
Was not
possible. I
expecting
think
that.
it's possible that he starts the season as the starter because the Bears just realized that he's the best running back on their team during camp. And I think
Wow.
it's possible that Roshan Johnson is just starting really soon. And he is a really fun running back and he is so good. And obviously his talents didn't really get showcased all that much with Bijan as the starter at Texas, but Roshan was really good when he got the ball, and he's a productive running back. And I do believe he's the best running back on the Bears. And I like Herbert and I like Deontay Foreman. I think they complement him well, but I just really, really love Roshan Johnson. And I'm gonna throw a dart that
Wow.
maybe one of the running backs goes down and he just breaks out.
That's crazy, but I love it. I love that kind of stuff. I love throwing out dart throws. But I absolutely love it. Roshan Johnson is a running back with not much miles on him. So, he was fantastic. When he had the chance. I think he was like over 4 or 5 yards per carry at Texas, behind Bijan, which he was like one of the most efficient college running backs ever with his touches. But yeah, he doesn't have much miles on him, and he's a big bruiser. So I absolutely love that. I would love the Bears to give him an opportunity. They do have, of course, a stacked running back room, so we'll have to see. But yeah, it's a total dart throw. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. And looking at the betting odds, he is just so far down, like so far down. And that's probably my favorite value. So if you guys want to make a bet, that's the one I would make for sure is Roshan Johnson just for fun. I mean, his value is just so low right now. So I like that. And I'm going to give one honorable mention. You could if you want as well. But I wanted to talk about Will Levis because there's a world where Will Levis starts and Ryan Tannehill doesn't. And the Titans are a good team always. They're always competitive. Mike Vrabel has them in every game. And if Will Levis is the starter with Derrick Henry on that team, then they could make a playoff run, and that could be a legitimate Will Levis Rookie of the Year territory. So I do want to give that an honorable mention because that's a scenario that's somewhat realistic.
Oh, 100%. I love that honorable mention. I do also want to give one shout out to a guy, Mr. Zay Flowers, who didn't make the list either. But Zay Flowers, he's got the potential to have a Hollywood Brown, type connection with Lamar Jackson. This guy's fast. He's good at getting open. He can run the full route tree. But yeah, and he's kind of a receiver that the Ravens would like to throw to. That's how they've kind of always designed their offense around these speedy guys who can get deep. And Lamar Jackson has a sneakily good deep ball. So I wanted to throw him in the mix too, because I'm sure he's pretty low on the betting odds, but he's a total dart throw, but I do like his odds as well.
I like that a lot. I like that you mentioned that he reminds you of Hollywood Brown to Lamar's connection. That honestly gets me really excited. That makes me want to get Zay Flowers in fantasy. I like that he's an
100%.
exciting player.
Total sleeper right there. And I think he could be their wide receiver 1. I mean, Odell's older. Bateman really hasn't stepped into that role. But yeah, Zay Flowers, he's a young, exciting prospect, who's ultra fast, speedy, end arounds. I mean, he can kind of do everything.
Yeah, could be the target leader in that offense for the receivers. But Yeah, that was really fun. I love doing this, and I'm excited to do it for defense. I'm excited to see who goes first, and I'm gonna have the first pick for defense. That'll be fun.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, it was a fun, shorter little podcast today. But I hope everyone tunes in and watches this. It's these we're gonna be doing a lot of these different drafts and scenarios on this kind of stuff. But yeah, super fun. I'm excited for next episode with the defense, and then we'll have Shane back from vacation and start doing the rest of our fantasy rankings. So everyone stay tuned. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you guys like to listen. Make sure to like, follow us, share your thoughts, and give us, write some recommendations down on shows you'd like to see.
Yep. Stay tuned. NFL Seekers podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Peace, guys.
Yes, sir.